In the dead of night, it's nothing more than a whisper, maybe a shadow that just slices through the sky. It's this mysterious presence that can slip right past the world's most advanced air defenses. So today, we're going to peel back the layers on the B-2 Spirit, truly one of the most enigmatic and revolutionary aircraft ever built.
Which, brings up a really fascinating question. How on earth do you take a 50-meter giant, we're talking about the width of a football field here, and make it completely invisible to your enemy? I mean, that's the paradox right at the heart of the B-2.
Yeah, it's been called a ghost in the machine for a reason. It's the specter that can carry a payload big enough to change the course of history, all while staying a complete phantom. We're talking about an aircraft that totally redefined the rules of aerial warfare.
But okay, to really get how this ghost was even born, we've got to rewind the clock. We have to go back to the intense pressure cooker that created it in the first place, the Cold War.
So, picture this. It's 1975, and the nuclear standoff between the US and the Soviet Union is at its absolute peak. I mean, the balance of power was so fragile it could shatter at any moment. This incredible tension created a really urgent need for a new kind of weapon, and that led directly to the 1978 launch of the top-secret Advanced Technology Bomber Program.
In this quote from a US Air Force general, it just perfectly captures the problem they were facing. Look, the existing bomber fleet, led by the mighty B-52, was still a powerful deterrent, for sure. But against the Soviets' sophisticated air defenses, they were becoming dangerously vulnerable. Or, as this general put it so bluntly, sending one in was like throwing a rock at a hornet's nest. They were basically just giant, slow targets in the sky.
So what was the solution? Well, it led to a mission that sounded like it was straight out of science fiction. The goal was to design a bomber that could literally pass through enemy lines like a ghost, drop its payload, and just disappear before anyone even knew it was there. It was a task that seemed, fundamentally impossible.
But here's the crazy part. The solution to this super futuristic problem? It wasn't found in some brand new discovery. Nope. It was found in a radical idea from the past, a forgotten dream that had basically been collecting dust for decades.
The answer was hiding all the way back in the 1940s with this visionary aircraft designer named Jack Northrop. And this guy, he had an obsession. It was a concept he called the flying wing, an aircraft with no real fuselage or tail, just one single, sleek aerodynamic shape.
And this is where you see this incredible leap in technology. So back in 1947, Northrop actually built the YB-49 prototype. It was way ahead of its time, but it had this one fatal flaw. Without modern computers, it was just dangerously unstable to fly. The project got canceled, and the prototypes were ordered to be destroyed. But then, decades later, with the invention of advanced fly-by-wire computers, these things could make thousands of tiny adjustments every single second. Northrop's failed design was resurrected. It became the very foundation for the ultimate stealth aircraft.
So, how did they finally pull it off? I mean, how did they actually engineer this revolutionary flying wing to be invisible? Well, let's break it down. Let's look at the anatomy of this ghost.
Okay, so the B-2's near invisibility isn't because of one single trick. It's not magic. It's the combination of three revolutionary ideas all working together in perfect harmony. Its radical shape, its secret materials, and its hidden internal systems.
All right, first up, the shape. And this isn't just to look cool, okay? Every single smooth curve and angle is precisely calculated to deflect incoming radar waves away, kind of like skipping a stone across water. So instead of getting a clear signal bouncing right back at them, the enemy gets nothing but these faint, scattered whispers.
But you might be thinking, what about the few waves that do hit the aircraft head-on? Well, that's where the second pillar comes in. The B-2 scan is covered in this top-secret stuff called radar-absorbent material, or RAM for short. This coating literally acts like a sponge, soaking up the energy from radar signals so that almost nothing can reflect back.
And finally, the third pillar is all about hiding. The B-2's engines, they're buried deep inside its thick wings, which shields them from radar. But even more clever is how it handles heat. The hot exhaust gases are cooled by special systems before they're released, which dramatically reduces the plane's heat signature. That makes it nearly invisible to heat-seeking missiles. So what's the result of all this incredible tech working together? Well, the effect is just astounding. On a radar screen, a classic B-52 bomber shows up as a blip the size of a large truck. The B-2 Spirit, on the other hand, has the radar signature of a pigeon. Yeah, a pigeon. Just think about that. Trying to find it is like trying to spot a single bird in the vast, open sky. I mean, this level of game-changing technology is it's astonishing. But as you can probably guess, it comes with an equally astonishing price tag. And that brings us to the billion-dollar question.
I want you to just let this number sink in for a second. $2 billion. That was the rough cost for a single B-2 Spirit. That makes it by far the most expensive aircraft ever built. This isn't just a piece of military hardware. We're talking about a national investment on a scale that is just unprecedented. So what does that kind of investment actually get you? Well, it gets you a 20-ton punch. This thing can carry a payload equal to about 10 cars. It can fly over 11,000 kilometers without even refueling and operates at twice the height of Mount Everest. And get this, in a single mission, it can hit 80 separate targets with GPS-guided bombs. Or, it could just deploy the colossal 15-ton bunker buster bomb, which is designed to destroy the most heavily fortified underground targets you can imagine. And that immense cost, combined with the incredibly complex and frankly painstaking maintenance needed for that delicate stealth coating, well, that's exactly why only 21 of these ghosts were ever produced. It's an exceptionally rare and exceptionally powerful strategic asset. But of course, technology never ever stands still, so even as the B-2 is still operating, its successor is already preparing to take to the skies, the B-21 Raider.
Now, the Raider represents a completely new way of thinking. You see, while the B-2 was groundbreaking but just astronomically expensive, the B-21 is being designed from the ground up to be smaller, way cheaper, and a lot easier to maintain. It's not just a bomber. It's being envisioned as a sixth-generation, multi-role platform for intelligence and attack, truly built for a new era.
And all of this brings us to a final, pretty crucial thought. The B-2 proved that a giant could be made invisible. The B-21, well, it aims to make that invisibility more sustainable and affordable. But as new detection methods like quantum radar and network sensors start to evolve, we're left with a really provocative question. Will the very idea of stealth, which has dominated military aviation for half a century, eventually become obsolete? The answer to that question, well, it's going to define the future of the skies.